Hello, everybody, and welcome to, instead of LinkedIn Live Lunch Hour, it's Dinner Time Discussions. And I am Michael Goldberg. It is great to be with you yet again, and welcome. So I've got a really fabulous guest. So Jason Lebowitz, I was introduced to him through our mutual friend, Rena Friedman Watts. And Jason is the founder, CEO, chief guru, all things really, really cool. So after a day like today, and you all know what I'm talking about, today was a messed up day for our country. I think you're really going to love this guest because we're going to talk a little mind, body, and soul and how his platform, XXO Connect, is going to help you. And we're going to share the platform with you. Jason and I are going to have a conversation. Feel free to chime in with your questions, and we'll go from there. So Jason founded XXO Connect last year. It's the platform built for connections to self first. And we'll certainly ask him about that. And he and his team are restoring connection to humanity, which I think is very, very well needed at this time, and transforming his goal. This is pretty cool. He wants to transform 1 million lives by 2025. So together, they've created this great platform to accelerate human connection. And it gives me great pleasure to welcome my guest and newfound friend, Jason Lebowitz. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Thank you, Michael. That was a great intro. I appreciate that so much.
Sure, you can use that on the recording anytime. You can just, I'll send you the recorded version. You can just, hey, let me here's my announcer. It's kind of like I'm Johnny from The Price is Right? You remember Johnny from The Price is Right? Used to announce Bob Barker. So yeah. You can use, so I give you full copyright mode to do that. So
you did that so well.
All right, thanks. So welcome, sir, and good evening.
Good evening to you.
Thank you
for joining us.
Absolutely. And I hope that we get a nice crowd. And so did I describe the platform correct? Did I give a good overview of it is about how to improve yourself, mind, body, soul, everything, but it's really focusing on yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, it's connection to self first. And so mind, body, soul, I think that describes it is how do we connect to ourselves first before each other? And if we don't have that connection to self, to me, connection is the root of it all. And if we're missing that, the connection to self, you will not have that connection to others. And so that's where it begins is the transformation and in the inner work.
So let's talk about how you got into this and what led you down this path. Can you walk us through a little bit about your background and how this came to be?
This came to be through my relationship with myself, or lack of, and through a series of relationships that I was in, unhealthy relationships, and I was just repeating the cycle over and over of jumping into another relationship, and over time, it wasn't my partner to blame for an unhealthy environment. It was really me and my connection to myself, or lack thereof, of lack of self-worth, being a codependent. And so I became fascinated through the years after that, going through a transformation of how do I establish that deep connection to self first. And that's really where the transformation started.
And so how do you know when you've reached a deep connection with yourself? I mean, I think that's probably the first question people are going to like. How do you hit? Is it comparable to self-actualization, or is it close on Maslow's theory, or even taking out the psychological theory behind it? Walk me through that.
Everything gets quiet. Yeah, everything gets quiet. When you're led by intuition, all the noise around you gets very quiet. The opinions, judgment of others don't matter to you. Just things change, and you definitely know when you've found that inner connection to yourself, where you've become aligned with your purpose, yourself. You know who you are, and you don't need anybody else to tell you who you are or who you are not. You just know, and you live. It's a very, it's a very different lifestyle once you get there. You feel very connected to everything.
So it's having the confidence. And confidence can be used different ways, but having the confidence to go out and be yourself and not try to be somebody different, or having the confidence thinking, like I did a post about 45 minutes ago saying, I can't do this, I can't do that. If you don't try, how do you know? Right. And so is that what you mean? Is it an air of confidence, or is it just this overwhelming peace of mind that comes to you?
I believe it's both of those. I believe once you have connection to self, you become confident. I think everything else falls on top of that. Once you have that connection, you establish that deep connection.
So, what are, I mean, and I think the audience would know this, but I'm curious, and if you don't mind, if you don't want to share, I certainly understand, but, what was destruction like for you? And, and how do, maybe there are people that don't see themselves in destructive relationships, or even worse, right? It's, how did you come to that? How should people kind of be like, what are the warning signs for you?
Anxiety all the time, losing the relationship with yourself, just kind of shutting down, walking on eggshells at times where, as a codependent, I would want to do everything with my partner, but I completely lost that relationship with myself to the point where you become almost a shell.
You're just a human walking around.
You're just existing. You're not living your life anymore. You've lost purpose. You might not even have found purpose yet.
But did that affect, like, if you, I know you had worked full time before, did that affect obviously your work and professional life just as much as your personal life?
It does, because then 24/7, if you're living in that anxiety, then that's affecting you, because even when you're away from the person, it's almost, it almost changes your cortisol, your internal wiring. It kind of reverses everything, where it's almost an addiction is the best way I could explain it, is an addiction. And that's common today. It's everything is an addiction or distraction from ourselves. So whether that's a person or social media or swiping or anything else, we're using as a distraction from spending that time with ourselves, getting to know ourselves. And that's really what it is. When anytime where we're not putting ourselves first in a personal growth, personal development phase, we're distracting ourselves from doing it. Because a lot of times it's painful. We don't want to do it. We start to do it, but when things get quiet and we're just left with ourselves, then we'll go right back to the next thing, so we don't have to deal with it. And so
we just replace it with something else, whether that's drugs, alcohol, who knows what, right?
Yep.
So let's get away from the negative stuff. But it's always good to have a backstory, right?
Absolutely.
So what was that aha moment for you that said, okay, I've gone through this journey. I want to start something that's going to really impact, in your case, 1 million lives in the next 5 years. So how did this all come into play? Kind of walk us through that journey.
It came into two phases. One is initially when I was going through my transformation, and even before, I was seeing what online dating was all about and the online dating apps. And to me, they were becoming a way. They were also an addiction. They were, to external validation and attention to provide a temporary happiness. But when you're swiping, you're not really looking to be in a relationship. It becomes almost a distraction or an addiction. And it was a convenience. And relationships are not built out of convenience. They're built out of connection. And so to me, there was this loss of vulnerability and intimacy, which ultimately goes back to the root of it, is connection. So at the time, XXO started off as an idea of creating an offline matchmaking service to disrupt the online dating world and to actually have people come offline, not be a profile or a swipe, but actually a human being, and get to know each other offline. And so XXO initially started like that, and we launched last January. And a month later, COVID happened, where people couldn't meet offline, people couldn't meet in person, and it kind of shifted everything for me, which was a great shift for me, because I saw quickly that the problem was not just for people who are single, but people who even are married struggle with intimacy and vulnerability and shame and insecurities and so many other things, right? So the problem is the relationship with self. I kept coming back to that. And overnight, I actually had a vision or a download in the middle of the morning, 4:30 in the morning, and 4:31 actually to be exact on a Saturday morning. And I saw the vision of what now is XXO Connect platform.
Is this after kind of going through kind of the final straw of destruction that came to you, or was it after a period of time?
This is probably 3 years after. Yeah, there's
good.
much separation and distance after that to get to this place.
Because I think you need that distance, don't you?
You absolutely do. The transformation is not overnight. It's definitely over time. And while it might start overnight, it's years in the making.
So now, how did you get to 1 million? Because that's a lot of people, Jason, for us to be. And I think I love it, and I'm all for it, and I want to help you get there. But how did 1 million? Why? Why? I guess go big or go home. Was that the thought?
I was thinking way too small, and I was thinking in reality when I left those things and started thinking big and stopped believing in reality. And when I had the vision of what this was, it all came to me, and I saw the components, the functions, everything that the platform does. But I also saw 1 million, and I put a number on it, transforming 1 million lives by 2025. And if I said 1 million, within a week or so, that would have been a hard time. But I think even that is thinking small within a period of 5 years of reaching 1 million people.
I think that's fantastic. So let's take a look at your site, and so feel free to shoot in with questions for us. And let me share my screen here. Give it a second. So this is the site. I of course am a member because as soon as I had heard about it, I went, I can use this. I can use this help, because when you're an entrepreneur, I mean, it's not just for entrepreneurs, but as an entrepreneur, it's a roller coaster ride, and and unfortunately, when you commit to it, you can't get off that. And so you need a platform like XXO Connect to help. Really, after you described it, I went on, and it took me a couple hours, but I registered for it, and I'm excited to join up with these master classes. So let's kind of go through these different types of classes that we're talking about. I know how was Rebecca O'Brien's?
It was great. It was great. It was very therapeutic, relaxing, and we did exercises together, some spiritual exercises, and it was just. Really, it was 1 hour of no distraction. There was no distraction. It was just one-on-one in terms of we were with her. And it was a great time. And so for me, the way of how do we accelerate human connection is 3 ways: is by providing the tools needed, but connection with community, which means being surrounded with a group of people, connection one-on-one, where it's just one person video chat, one-to-one talking with no distraction. And then connection to self, spending the time by yourself, getting to know yourself. And those are really the 3 core components of what XXO Connect is made up of. And one is the master classes, the weekly master classes is one of our features.
Yeah, and so it looks like they go every Wednesday at noon Central. Is that right?
Yep, every Wednesday. So it'll start every Wednesday. We will have a master class. We will also start to have weekly, different times, different types of classes we're going to introduce as well. But this is the first phase of it.
This is awesome. I know this is one that I am going to definitely sign up for, because you and I were talking about this offline about him, and then about Veronica, and it's just a break. And what I like about the times that you're doing them is, for the most part, you're hitting the Central Time Zone lunch hour. But, because we're working from home, it's okay. How long do these go? An hour, right? They go an hour?
They're 1 hour. And they're recorded, so they will live inside our video content library. So if you happen to miss a class, as a member, you still have access to all of them. We'll load them up as we record them out.
Absolutely. So, I mean, this is just through February 10th that you have lined up. So in turn, and so I know that there's a members community. Is it? I hate to use the word. I hate to. Is it like Clubhouse or LinkedIn where I could connect with other members?
It's not like those. So there's no posting, no swiping, no trying to gain followers or likes. The difference of so LinkedIn is a business platform. This is not a business platform. And then Clubhouse is all voice. Clubhouse is like a social place where it's for networking. It's definitely for learning, but it's a social place all built on voice. The XXO Connect is a place to quiet everything, to remove the distraction, to really share in just deep one-on-one conversations with other members. It's a much more intimate environment.
Yeah, and so for the so you can live masterclass connection. So tell me what this is. Is this kind of during the event? Walk me through this page here.
Yep, the live master classes that will link you to the live Wednesday events. So all you have to do as a member, you have access to everything. You can click on the live master classes when they're running live. If you missed it, you can go to the video library. The second I'm so excited about, it's in development. It should be out within a week or so, is the video chat connection. It's our very own XXO Connect video chat, one-on-one. What that means is similar to like a FaceTime or a WhatsApp, but it's our own software and it's only for XXO Connect members. You don't need to send a link. You don't need to send an invite, literally 24/7. All I have to do is on my phone or through the computer, hit a connection button, and I can have a one-on-one video conversation with anybody, have a deep conversation.
Yeah, I think this young lady needs to be on it too, right? She likes to bark, so sometimes when I pick her up, she'll chill out. So that's good. So my apologies for if I distracted you there. So and then the community. So if I hit community connection.
Yep, that's not going to be set up yet. Is that community connection will also be, there'll be different community video involvements in terms of if you're looking for group activities with the community. There'll also be a community software where you can get into group discussions. So whether you're looking for a one-on-one, a group, or the personal side of just on your own, it's all going to be there for us. And it'll definitely develop it as we do too, and figuring out different features. And we already have more features that we're going to be adding to this in the next few months.
So when is it Rebecca? Her class will kind of be in this video content connection box. Yep. Is that right?
Yep. So the video content will be all of the master classes, the recordings of them. There'll be video content, a library of all different subjects from some of our different experts that we're bringing in on self-love, self-worth, body image, shame, forgiveness, anxiety, depression, on and on. We're bringing experts. I just got off the phone a little while ago with somebody we're bringing on, a doctor I'm really excited about. She'll be building content with us and being one of our presenters. So just amazing talent that we'll be bringing in, up and coming people, some well-known people that we'll be bringing in to work with us.
Yeah. So, and this was the amazing thing to me is it's $15 a month for all that content.
Yeah.
And for to give yourself, for me, $15 is a great deal for a peace of mind to really gain control of yourself, as the new year, whether you're starting a new career or you're starting a new calendar year and you've got all these goals and you're stressed and the boss is on you, what have you, for $15 a month, I can come here and veg out for an hour, whether at noon live with others or, or just on my own time.
Yeah.
Right. And to me, how easy is that? Right.
Yeah. We wanted to create a safe space free of judgment and a place where you can do that. And maybe it's, 6:30 at night or 8 in the morning. And I just want to share in a one-on-one conversation about something. I can go on to the video chat and speak with somebody, video wise, just you and I, nobody watching. It's just us having a real deep conversation, sharing. And I've had 2 of these the past couple of days, and someone who didn't know where to go to have share in a conversation, what they needed to talk about. And so it provided a safe space. They did break down for a while, but we had a really deep conversation where they didn't know where to go for that. And we provided the space to have that conversation. And I think it's an amazing place for that, for us to get to know each other. I'm not going to judge you. You're not going to judge me. And while we're getting to know each other, we're really getting to know ourselves.
So when you're on during like the live masterclass, can people talk to one another, or is it like webinar mode only and you're just listening to somebody talk?
You're listening and watching somebody talk. You can leave comments, but then we and the presenter can respond to the comments. But then towards the end, we open up to a group conversation where if they have any questions to the presenter, they can have a complete conversation.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, this is great. So, and so people, when I'm going to stop sharing here. So just we come in here. There we go. So. So, in terms of how people can, like, let's say they're a yoga person, or they're someone that has an expertise. Can anybody, do people just reach out to you to say, hey, I'd like to be a presenter, I'd like to lead a masterclass?
I've been
on this.
Yeah, they can reach out to me. I've been searching for people in our space, in the mental health space, and the anything within that falls under kind of what we're doing. But absolutely, people can reach out to me as well.
Yeah, I know you and I talked about doing something on essentialism as I read this book by Greg McCune. So, how does one maintain that connection? Because, right, I can attend a masterclass and then I could have something that throws me back down the rabbit hole, right? You're getting up, you're halfway out of the rabbit hole, and then someone just it's like getting out of the pool, right? And remember when we were growing up, your friends would just push you backwards into the pool, and you're underwater again. You're like, what the hell? So what's the secret to that? Because this is a mindset that even though you can go to a master class, you have to practice it, right?
You do. Again, it's not like a transformation happens overnight. You have a one class and you're done. That's why we have our weekly classes. That's why we're going to have our content where throughout the week you can watch videos at your pace. For me, for my journey, when I went through my transformation 24/7, when I woke up in the morning, when I went to bed at night, I'd be listening to some of the people that I kind of reached out to in terms of mindset and rewiring, unwiring, rewiring. So I know what it's like to be around that 24/7. It doesn't happen overnight, but it happens over time, that connection to self. And there will be, I don't like to call them setbacks, but there will be times where it's the ups and downs. But when you surround yourself with community, what's going on, Brian? When you surround yourself with community, and you're watching the videos, you're having the classes, you're having the one-on-one video conversations to get to know others, you're not alone. That's the thing. So you might have your ups and downs, but you're not alone. And that provides the place to build that connection with yourself over time.
Absolutely. I've always found that, it's, and over the year, I mean, I know I've had this transformation to become more confident in my abilities in selling and building relationships. And it's not always about the sale. It's about building long-term lasting relationships and getting to know people. Right. Is this geared? I think you have to fix yourself before you can fix yourself in business. What are your thoughts on that?
It always comes back to self first.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Connection begins within and travels outward. So if you don't have it with yourself, you won't ever have that true connection to others.
So when I don't know about you, but like when I go to sleep, I generally like to, I have the Calm app, free plug. I have the Calm app. and I like to listen to, either the waves or the water. Is that helpful, or is that extra noise that you're throwing in, especially at a time when you're trying to you're trying to have your body reset for the next day?
I think it's great for some people. I think everybody has a different way of how they want to put themselves to sleep, how they want to calm their body down. I'd say the best thing is, you're not staring and swiping and doing all this. I'm guessing your phone is down, you're
Yeah.
relaying, you have your own ritual. And so I think that's a great way. If that works for you and that's able to quiet down everything and put you in a place where everything kind of gets quiet, then that's great. Getting away from the distraction and the swiping and the noise and the light and everything else. Let everything get kind of quiet. So I think that's great.
In terms of, exercise and the things that as a part of this, you all had, you all did, was it yoga today, or was it just some type of stretching exercises with
It was
Rebecca?
actually it was a breath exercise
Breathing.
that we did. Yeah, in the middle of the class, we did a breathing exercise to kind of calm us all down.
I think the best thing class I ever took was a Tai Chi class, because everybody thinks it's about the movements, and it's not karate at all. It's all about becoming one with yourself and breathing as you do these. You breathe, you breathe in, and then you breathe out when you come back, and then you do the other hand. Those that to me is the best. I haven't been as regimented in my exercise. You can't get out and exercise, especially in the winter. It's too cold, it's raining, it's snowing, whatever it's doing. Is breathing probably the best exercise you can do for your body, or should you still have some of that physical activity going on?
I like both. I love my breath work. I love physical activity. For me, I love just keeping my body healthy in different ways. So for me, I do breath work and I do physical activity. And to me, they're very different. They're definitely very different.
Yeah. And so when you come to you sign up, you're a part of it, you come to the master class. I assume that phones are down. Literally, you shouldn't have double screens. It should be one screen. Everything else is X'd off for the time being, or unplugged at least, so that you can truly focus. But I assume you can take these classes on your phone as well and get away from your laptop. Like, you shouldn't be working and listening at the same time, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you shouldn't be. This is not meant to be. I mean, you're meant to be no distraction. So you can use your phone. You can access it through your computer as well. But everything in terms of personal growth is a time to be free of distraction. So if we still have all the distractions going on and we're doing two things at once, we're really not being present. We're really not in the moment to take in everything.
Yeah,
It becomes its own noise, and that's really not the point of it.
absolutely. So just a few comments we've had coming in. Our friend Rocky giving us a shout out. Hey, fellas. There's Brian, maybe Brian Schulman. Then he says, "This is Gabe." Is that an inside joke
It
between
might
you
be.
and?
Well, no, it's not to me, but to me, it might be. Gabe, is that you with the using Brian's profile for right now?
Oh, Gabe
It could be.
Leal. Yeah, no, it's not. Okay. Then he says, "Sup, Michael Goldberg and Jason Lebowitz, XXO." So thank you, Brian. So here's a question. So how will XXO connect help in personal growth? I think it's a great question. Thank you, Brian.
Brian, Gabe. It's it's going to help because we are getting away from all of the distraction, all the noise, everything. We're getting away from the comparison. We're getting away from trying to gain likes or followers. We're getting away from everything and spending that time with ourselves, surrounded by coaches, experts in a community. So you're not alone. And that's the time where we can spend to really get to know ourselves, have the tools we'll provide to spend that time to really do the inner work. And that's the personal growth is getting away from the noise. Our platform shuts down all of the outside noise and distraction.
Right. So instead of exclamation points, he just says yes. Brian, put a little more emphasis. I want to hear yes across. We had a good time. So just to let everybody know, it was me, it was Brian, it was Rocky, it was Gabe, it was it Joel Alchi? Was he on?
For what now? I'm not sure.
New Year's Eve, our little New
Um,
Year's get together.
I didn't see Joel.
Oh,
I was there for a little bit. I didn't see Joel. He could have been, but I saw a bunch
I
of
don't know if
people
he I don't
online.
know if he came on, but it was is it Shanae? No, it's
Chantel.
Chantel. Yeah,
Chantel. Yeah.
she was the other person on. She wasn't on very long, but and of course Brian, who had the Wonder Twin powers. You remember the Wonder Twins? You know, Wonder Twin powers activate. Okay, you're too young. There was this cartoon. Brian Gabe may remember this, but there was this cartoon on Saturday mornings called the Wonder Twins, and when they put their fists together like this, they could say form of, a banana, form of, and so Brian was having a good time transferring himself into all kinds of shapes, sizes, and food items that night. It was quite an interesting night. But I think
too.
I bring up that our conversation because there are those moments there that we need to unleash and just be ourselves and be together. For Raquel, it was, she was home alone, and we had talked since then. Just she was so appreciative that we were all together, and I know that made her feel really good. You were the super quiet one, but you were loving it because you were just. I was loving it too because you and I were the only sober people on the call, as far as I know.
Yeah, well, I think I came on in the 11 o'clock hour, and that's way well past my bedtime. So I was half asleep. I always am on these late things, but it was a pretty wild moment. I enjoyed for a few minutes, and yeah, Brian Gabe was he had a few that night.
Yeah.
You missed
Yeah,
your own party, Gabe.
up. There you go. There it is. Admittance of guilt. But hey, you got to voice your vibe, right, Brian? I love that because at that moment, because it was me and my family, and I love my family, and we were watching, Andy and Anderson on CNN, having a good time. But when it was Anna Morgan, career BFF and my very good friend said, she pinged me and she said, "You need to join this. Come on." Yeah. And I came on. It was kind of good just to get away for a moment and just hang with people, some I knew and some I didn't know. And I got to meet, and I met 3 new people, including yourself, even though we had started talking to one another. Right. But I don't know what we need that from time to time, don't we? As a part of that connection.
I want to, give a shout out to Gabe. He's created such a great community we're talking about just putting a bunch of people together and building a community and having those types of that environment for everybody. And so Gabe's built an amazing community for us to all share, to be together, be ourselves. And I think he's done a great job with that in the creating these videos every night, going live. And he's done a great job with that.
I think he's, Gabe Leal, shout out. I mean, he just to have to line up guests 5 days a week. I mean, I'm kind of starting to do 2, maybe 3 a week, and it's a lot. It's a lot of work, right? Yeah. To line up guests and get them excited about the show and do the research. And but Gabe just seems to be Superman when it comes to that. So good job, Gabe, sir. So,
speaking of podcasts, that will be a future one of the future features. We will have our own podcasting inside the XXO Connect network. You'll be able to not only share in one-on-one conversations with others, but actually create podcasts that will live inside the XXO Connect network.
But will it also be on like Spotify and Apple and all that as well to drive traffic? No,
because a lot of people they want to keep it personal. Like it's like they're not comfortable putting themselves out there yet. So we're providing a safe environment where they're able to have those conversations. They can share it with other community members inside our environment, but it'll live inside our own network. It won't be putting out there for everybody else because they're really not doing it to put it out there for everybody else. They're doing it to really get comfortable sharing and conversations with other people. And then our community members are going to gain something out of it by listening to these types of podcasts. So that's a future feature that I look forward to releasing.
Well, we look forward to hopefully people watching this and seeing some subscription numbers go up over the next couple of days. So you need to go to xxoconnect.com and reach out to Jason. It's probably the better way to reach out to Jason if you have questions. Is there a way? Do they click our team? Is that what they click, or what? What do they click to connect with you or to get in touch with you?
If they want to, they can click. There's a contact, and they can just fill out the contact form. What they will be doing is having a one-on-one with all of our members as they sign up to get just learn about them, who they are, and they can have a better understanding of the platform as they come in. I really want to keep a safe environment with this platform and make sure that everybody's there for the right reason and we all can grow together. So that's, for me, it's important to get to know the community as they come in.
There it is. It's the third button from the left. If you're looking at the website, folks, XXO Connect. Jason, time always flies when we're doing these things, and I just can't thank you enough for taking the time out of your, it's getting late. You're on the East Coast, not that late, but I really appreciate you coming on and being a part of the show. And for everybody, so to you and I's very good friends. There's one last comment from our friend Brian. Yes, this will be a great opportunity, but from Raquel, thanks, love you. Brian, love you, and Jason, love you. Thank you so much for taking the time to be a part of it. I really enjoyed the conversation. I kind of feel mellow now. I don't want to turn on the TV again. I'm going to stay away from the television tonight. I don't care what they say. I'm staying away from it.
Yeah.
So
you have a certain amount of energy every day, and you need to preserve it. And I know a lot of things happen today, so that's just going to suck up your energy and put you in a negative state, and you're going to go to sleep like that. You're going to wake up like that. So that's an awareness. I'm glad you recognize that and just spend the time with yourself in that quiet space, whether you're going to read or just kind of sitting there. I think that's great to recognize those things, because by going back to the distraction of what's going on, that's going to put you in a whole different mindset where you don't want to go tonight. So,
yeah. So thanks again, Jason. For everybody out there, please be safe. This is a great country. Let's I'll be political for a minute. Let's not mess it up like we messed it up today. And let's stay inside. Let's get this pandemic under control. Let's go get people jobs, and definitely for that release, you need to sign up for xxoconnect.com. $15 a month. Come on, you can do it. I want you all to do that, and let me and Jason know either on the replay of this that you joined, or just put it out there on LinkedIn that you joined, and push it out there, because transforming 1 million lives is a lot to go after, isn't it?
It is. It's going to be so exciting to have 1 million people on this platform in 5 years. And I mean, it's endless, the amount of conversations that we can have one-on-ones. You'll never run out of people to connect with, to share, and really get to know each other. So I'm not looking for, 100 million or 10, just, it's a personal journey for each of us, the connection to self and sharing in that one-on-one with others. And, it takes is one person to change another person's life.
Absolutely, sir. Well, thanks everybody for watching, and wish you a good evening. Jason, just stay on for a second.
Absolutely.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.